Good morning, everyone. It's Lee Henson, President and Founder of Agiledad, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Stand-Up. So without any further ado, let's get started. It's Friday, so it's time for our agile, not so agile episode of the Daily Stand-Up. And today I tied it into Boyd's OODA loop conveniently, but it's on the A in Boyd's OODA loop, which has to do with taking action or acting on the outcome map. So if you've ever been in a situation before where you have to take action, you'll understand this. So I'm going to tie it to the personal side first, then we'll tie it back into Boyd's OODA loop. So here we go. One of the things that I've noticed in families, in work groups, in situations where I'm coaching, in organizations, is that oftentimes when people make a decision, that's the hardest part until they have to take action on a decision. Then that becomes the hardest part. It's almost like trying to teach the difference between accountability and responsibility, where someone is accountable for making sure something happens and they take accountability or ownership. Responsibility just says, oh, I guess someone's got to do it, so I'm going to step up and do it. It's two different thought processes. It's two different ways that you activate your mind in order to achieve an outcome. And I think a lot of times I refer to kids with chores. And I ask them who's responsible for making sure this happens, and it's Tony's responsibility, or Justin's responsibility, or Sarah's responsibility, or Kate's responsibility. But when it comes down to accountability, sometimes it's, hey, even if someone else doesn't step up, am I going to step in and do what's necessary to make sure I get the job done? So after having agreed on what we want the outcome to be, whether it's a team with an outcome map, or whether it's kids with a chore list, or whether it's just family things or planning a vacation, it doesn't matter. Everyone is now in a state where they're ready to act. And I think it's important for us to take the output of the outcome map, no pun intended, and bring it back to the story map to make sure the story map reflects the true chosen course of action, and that we slice things in such a way that it makes sense for us to do things in order, and that we can see the sequence of things, and we can see things that currently exist as well as new things that need to be built in order for us to achieve a desired outcome. So now you have everything lined up in a way that you want to do things. Now, the technique that I use at home is a concept called grow, where I ask all the time, what's our goal? What are we trying to achieve? What's our reality? What options or opportunities do we have, and what will we do? What will we commit to do? And I think that this is a direct correlation to the OODA loop. And I think that the two go hand in hand quite well and work very well together. But I think sometimes getting people to make decisions, getting people to make commitments, and then getting people to take action on the decisions that they made is often the hardest part about being an agile coach. It's the hardest part about being a parent. It's the hardest part about being a teacher. So I think for you, I would like to identify 2 or 3 things that you can do to help influence others and to help people get to the point where they have to make a decision. Coming in at number 3, we're going to say is, what do you have to lose by trying? Right? As long as it's not a life or death situation, and as long as it's not a situation where it could cause someone physical harm or pain or cause someone great emotional duress, I think that more times than not, there's value in trying something. You've got to try something new. And I know sometimes people get so frustrated or so uh, confuzzled about, do I move in this direction and try this new thing, or what if this happens, or what if, and we let the what ifs take over. And we can't let the what ifs take over. We got to get into a place where we can say to ourselves, hey, I'm going to take a chance, I'm going to step out on a limb, and I'm going to try something. And I think this has to do closely with Boyd's OODA loop because it does tie back to risk. Number 2 is, sometimes I would, and you've heard the old adage, I never ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Sometimes we have to lead by example. Sometimes it has to be something that we'll do. And then once people see that we'll do it, then they're more confident in their ability to do it, and they're able to gain traction. And that's another way to show people, hey, that this is okay, and that you will live through it, and that we all will live through it, and that we'll all be better for it in the end, right? And I think that's important for us to really focus in. And I think at number 1 is just, we need to empower people instead of enable people. And I think for too many years, for too long, we've gone through systems and intellects and things that we've done, procedures, where we've enabled people. We've given them the tools they need to do things. We've given them everything they need to be successful, and we've given them all the enablers, but we haven't taught them how to leverage the enablers to do the things they need to do. One of the things that we need to focus better on is empowering people instead of enabling people. I want to empower people to make critical decisions. I want to empower people to do the things they need to do. I don't necessarily want to always enable them by providing them everything that they need to be successful. Oftentimes, when this happens, people don't value the end outcome. My beautiful wife Laurie always tells me, she says, if you give somebody something for free, they're never going to value it. They need to work a little bit for it. They need to pay something for it. They need to do this, or else they'll never see value in what they receive. And whether it's valuing your time or whether it's valuing what you're trying to do, I think that you need to find value in your actions. So the action is the part that's the most exciting. It's the most exhilarating. It's the part that allows you to really act with confidence and know that what you're doing is going to make a difference in the world today. But whether it's taking action for a social cause or standing up to social injustice, or whether it's taking action to help someone who can't help themselves, or whether it's taking action to empower our kids to make better choices so that the future generation is stronger than the generation today, I think all of those things are critical and all things that we should focus in on. So my challenge to you for this upcoming week is find a way to take action. Find something that you believe in. Find something that you can take action on. Find a way to empower and uplift someone, and find a way to make the world a better place. That's all for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's workshop and sessions on OODA loop and on respect. We got lots of good stuff covered. Tune in next week for more Agiledad topics. We're excited to have you, and we appreciate the emails we've received. We encourage you, if you have a topic that you'd like for us to cover, please don't hesitate to send it. Learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear about your topics so that we can include them on an episode of the Daily Stand-Up Podcast. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.